Hello, everybody. How's it going? I am Kathie J. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have ever said to yourself, why is the universe just hitting me like this? Why? I can't overcome this. You can overcome anything, because my guest today has overcome literally like the hardest thing I think anyone can overcome. Everybody, please welcome to the Kathie J Show, Sherown Campbell. Yay.
Thank you.
All right. So let's tell everybody, tell everybody your story. Wait, first off, would you classify yourself as a walking quadriplegic?
Yes, that's the way that I understand it. I thought I would one day just not be a quadriplegic, but they said as long as your four limbs are still impacted and affected, then you're considered a quadriplegic. So it's not my view of things, because I feel like I've changed so much. I thought I could like get away from it or get out of it, but that's where I am.
I hate to say this, but I feel like sometimes it's for the rest of us to have our jaws drop when we hear walking quadriplegic. I think it's for everyone else to go, excuse me? Because a quadriplegic to the rest of us is in a chair. Yeah. Sometimes blowing into a tube to move their chair. Like you walked in here. And so let's tell everybody your story so that they know that anything they can overcome anything. All right. Okay. So Shiron, you're a Denver kid.
Yes.
And you were always an athlete.
Yes, ran track most of my life growing up, had a short stint of cheerleading in college, and then did the whole CrossFit thing.
I didn't know that. What part of the cheerleading? This is amazing.
I cheered for a college called Barden County in Kansas, and then I cheered for Northern Colorado for a year and a half.
So in order to do that, that means your body was so flexible it could flip. Like you were a cheer, you could do all that. You were that kind of an athlete.
Yeah, that's how I got scholarship, was after track practice, going to the cheer mat and doing flips with the cheerleaders and showing off.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. That's a lot of guys can't do that. Okay, so so that's really cool. So then what happens? High school, you were in track. You did everything, I assume.
Yeah, and college did really well. Ran for CSU, ran in Kansas, had the school record at Northern Colorado for almost 10 years, and then graduated and just wrestling with a friend after I got my master's, and he got me in a headlock, and we were being tough, thinking I was athletic, and didn't tap out, and ended up breaking my neck instead.
Okay, so you love how he just rolls right through that. And we're just wrestling. I want to talk about this because I just sent you a video recently of a kid who almost did get the same thing almost happened to him in a wrestling match, and I tagged you in it. So when boys and stuff were wrestling, so it was a move where he had you in a headlock, and then was he trying to do his legs where he stretched you?
He had his legs around my neck and was trying to get me to tap out and squeeze him pretty hard. And I knew he wasn't like on my arteries, which is usually how people like pass out. So I kept pulling, and then once it broke, my body went limp, so I couldn't tap. You lose control over your lungs too, so I couldn't say stop or do anything. And luckily there were some other friends there that saw that I wasn't moving, so they thought I was out. And then they told him to stop and rolled me over and could see I was making eye contact and I was coherent. I just wasn't able to move anymore. So,
did you feel a pop? Did you feel a...
Yeah, it was a pretty good pop, and I knew something happened. I've never really understood what a spinal cord injury was until that point. So it was like a crash course. And,
why would you? Well, yeah, it was a crash course in what was happening.
Yeah, and back then I remember... the Broncos were playing, and I remember, I think Peyton Manning had like a neck surgery. So I was like, oh, I'll come back. I'll get surgery and, be okay. I thought it was something short term, and I was not correct on that one.
So how long ago was this?
It was just over 10 years now that it happened.
Okay. All right. So what does that feel like when you're laying there and you can hear and your eyes can move, but you're not moving?
You almost feel like a coherent vegetable, like you're there, you can see everything, you're aware of what's going on, but can't move, you can't take care of yourself, you can't do much of anything. You're kind of just a ghost in your own body. I had lost a family member or my sister like a little before, and I remember feeling like it was almost like grieving the loss of like yourself, because you hear people talking about your belongings. You hear people talking about your job. Like everybody's taking care of your affairs, and you're just sitting there, not really able to do anything, just kind of listening to it. So,
wow. And that's like once you got to the hospital and people just hanging out in your room while you're there.
yeah.
So because you could blink and stuff, but they're thinking, what is your future? Like, yeah, that's why. Because hearing people talk about your belongings is crazy. Was it things like he won't need a car? I mean, what were they saying? Or was it like death stuff, your belongings?
Kind of a mix. I don't know if anyone really knew like what was going to happen at first. And then after we knew I was okay and, I was going to live and everything else, then it was like selling my motorcycle, selling my car, selling my home, putting my stuff in storage. Like you just don't need materialistic things anymore. So I was inpatient at the hospital for about 4 months. So you're kind of just living at the hospital of very minimal belongings, and everybody else was wrapping up my job. Like you don't know if you're going to ever get to go back to work. And
yeah, your whole life is now a different life.
yeah.
We're speaking today, everybody, with Sherown Campbell. He is a walking quadriplegic. Happened about 10 years ago, everybody, and his story gets better. Okay, so thank you for sharing and talking about this. I know it can be very hard. Is it hard to relive all that, to relive the feeling that you had and hearing people talk about you like you're leaving?
It's not hard to talk about or think about it. If anything, it just gives you like a lot of gratitude because you know what it's like to be in that position and to be able to pull through.
Yeah.
And to understand like life is going to continue and you still have opportunities to laugh, love, have a great time. Like it's
well,
good
no, I
looking
mean,
back on it.
it says Shiron. I mean, Shiron, you said you had a house, you had a motorcycle, like you were living the life. You were that dude, right?
I was trying to be.
I mean, that's good. That's great. Yeah. So you were on your way. Everything was looking good. So when you have to completely do a 180, and now you're now being told you could never walk again. What are you hearing in your head? I am going to walk again.
I wasn't there. I was a little bit more humble than that. I didn't think I would walk again, but I at least wanted to try and see. I'm one of those people where, if you tell me it wasn't like a defiance, like, oh, you're wrong. I was like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I still want to try. Like I need it for me. I need to see what is possible.
You were able to talk and communicate?
Early on, I didn't quite lose my lungs, so I wasn't on a ventilator.
That's right. You said your lungs. That's why you could only blink and stuff at first, right?
Yeah, it was like really light. Like I could mouth stuff and kind of get some things out, and then you have to have like people help you cough. And then over time, I was able to develop more of my voice back. And your diaphragm's what helps you project your voice. So when those muscles are paralyzed, you can't really project and get much out.
Yeah, no, people don't think about how much our bodies are set to work in sync with certain things working. One of the reasons that you say you survived is because we are here in Colorado where Craig Hospital exists.
Yeah.
And you really what they're doing over there is amazing, helping people.
Yeah, and they were a huge part of the recovery. So when I was originally injured, it was in San Diego. They did the surgery, and then I was there for 2 weeks. And then Craig Hospital, they don't usually do the surgeries, but they specialize in rehabilitation. So once I got there, they were there for explaining to my family how to take care of me, what to do. And then once there were signs that I might be able to recover, then they have great equipment, great therapists, and everything else to help you focus on what is working. And little by little was able to get quite a bit back. So
Sherown, no, them. I mean, like, please, everyone, follow him on his social, Sherown Campbell, because it has been, you've been inspiring me since you started posting your social, and your social is everything from you being, you were in a full neck brace in the hospital. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, to being flown, transported to your rehabilitation.
Yeah, it was my first private flight.
Hey, lucky you. Oh, yay. Be careful what you wish for, right? That's one of those weird things. When you so the rehabilitation, you said there were signs that you could recover. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Like you were able to start getting feeling? What does that mean?
I was getting some feeling, so I could tell when someone was touching me. I couldn't feel temperature, and temperature is still kind of spotty. I couldn't feel if something was like sharp or dull, so people would poke you with needles all the time to see where you could feel. And I could tell someone was touching me.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Can you feel that?
Sometimes they would draw blood, and it's like, I can't feel it, but I know you're poking me hard.
That bruise says you just messed up.
Yeah, so that started coming back, and then you start getting just twitches, like very small flickers, which is a great sign of hope, but it's still kind of frustrating to deal with because I remember them telling me, like, your toe twitched, and it's like, well, a toe twitch isn't going to get me out of the door, at my house.
Right.
It's not going to get me out of bed. It's not going to get me dressed. It's not helping feed me. So overly realistic. I probably should have celebrated those little victories a little bit more, but those were the early signs that, something would work or there was a connection. And
your days, it looks like from watching you on social, you'll be in some sort of physical therapy all day. It almost looks like it takes. Well, tell me what a day is for you.
Some days I do have therapy days that are pretty loaded with acupuncture, massage, and chiropractic work. So some of those days.
Well, that all sounds great. I'm talking about the days where it looks like where they have you on that treadmill and they're moving your legs and making you walk. Those days look really horrible, painful.
Yeah, I haven't been doing those anymore since I can kind of walk and do more on my own because it requires 3 to 4 therapists. But those days were usually, and I couldn't drive at that point either, so I'd get up in the morning, take the RTD Accessor ride to get to the hospital usually 3-4 hours before my therapy sessions, stretch, do an extra physical training or a personal training session. Then those training sessions were usually about an hour and a half with an hour on the treadmill.
Wow.
Half an hour either over ground stretching or something else. And then you're done, and then you wait for the Accessor ride to take you home, or hour or two a day. So it was a full day of just therapy for probably that good first year, pretty solid, 5 days a week.
So tell me then, okay, so then if it's 10 days, so tell me, so you were doing, how long before you were walking on your own like you can now?
It was probably around 8 to 9 months after my injury, but walking, when people say, like, when can you walk again, it's kind of hard to explain because, like, for me, walking at that point might have been getting from the bedroom to the kitchen.
That's walking.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so you were with me when I'd broken my leg, and you were like, you're going to walk again. It'll be baby steps, but you're going to walk again. Like, so that's walking again. It gets you into the living room.
Yeah, and slowly it added up, built up endurance and strength, and then it was around the block, and then it was to the park with my kids. And now sometimes I do dumb stuff and just take on challenges. Last year, my biggest accomplishment was getting around the park without crutches or anything, and I made it about a mile unassisted, which it's like tightrope walking. Like, I made it, but it was very slow, very careful, because I know if I trip, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, you're down. Yeah. Right. But you've tripped a lot.
Yeah.
In your recovery.
Yeah, more often than I want to, but it happens.
But tripping is also a metaphor and a way of life, and I think that a lot of people out there, they trip a lot trying to recover. And are trying to get going. And, I tripped a lot. We've talked about the fact that I have heart failure, or I'm a survivor, and you trip a lot. And so what is your message for the people out there that keep tripping?
That progress, and especially our health, is never, a straight line. Like, there's ups and downs, and it's not just a down day or a down week. Like, I've had down years, and it just takes enduring those to get to the next step and give yourself the next opportunity for things to kind of get going in the right direction again.
Because if you can find that there'll be happiness around the corner, then other people can find. Do you feel like maybe they could be focusing on the wrong thing of what makes them happy? I mean, you had to dig down for family and stuff, right, to keep you moving. I always want to give them advice on, it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, and that my kids were young at the point in time, so that made it so much easier, just because if you're ever around young kids, you can have the worst day on the face of the planet if a 3-year-old is running at you smiling and they're like, it's snowing outside, today's lovely, and you're like, you know what,
it is.
Today is great. So it was hard to be, down or upset during those moments. And, now that I'm getting older and they're getting older and I have more downtime, it's nice because I have more freedom, but then it's, I have to focus on other things and stuff myself and find my own happiness.
Yeah, you have to. I think everyone does. That's find your purpose.
Mm-hmm,
exactly.
Exactly.
If you're stressing about the money and stuff, there's got to be a different way you can change your thoughts. And like there's times that I had to be like, stop even thinking about money, Kathie. Like every single thought is negative. Do you focus on the language coming out as well, that like what you say out loud? Does that help? I mean, because I have to say it helps. It's not just physical. It has to be mental as well to get you moving.
Yeah, it's like the old stereotypes, like, not saying I can't, like I always say I try. I try not to speak in terms of certainty, like forever or always or must, or I know things happen, I know things change, and I just try to make the best out of what circumstance comes, because I know it's not always going to be great, and I know it's not always going to be terrible, but I still have to make the best out of it. So
your kids, you mentioned kids. So yes, so how old were they when you had your accident?
3 and 5.
Yeah, so little, so cute.
Actually, they were 1 and 3, and then 3 and 5 when we were staying on our own, because I had divorced after that. So that's when things got really challenging. It's one thing to deal with the disability, but then also to have 2 kids in the home and work around the disability.
No help. Yeah, right. Yeah. So your disability also hurt your marriage.
Yes.
It was very stressful.
Yes, I think relationships can be tough for anyone, but especially when it changes the dynamics. Some people come closer, and some people, you're no longer the person that you were when they met you. So just a lot changed, and it made it really tough.
Right. And you're like, you said for better or worse, you lied.
Yeah, I tested that theory, and the lie detector, that was a lie.
And she failed. But, but your kids, what I mean, as a father, as a parent, I know, there's days that I'm just tired and I can't get the kids out and I feel bad. Tell me how that is as a parent, how you were coming up, wanting to help them and be with them and spend time with them and maybe couldn't, or did you just find different ways?
It's usually finding different ways, because before my injury, I always thought like I would race them to the car or go on bike rides and hiking and
put them on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And now, right.
Now it's like coaching them through it. It's walking them through it. Talking to them. I rely on communication a lot more, and I can't race them to the car. They beat me in just about everything. Though I have got strong enough where I can outlift my son in some things, but he still beats me in others. But both of them can outrun me now, so I have to find other ways to beat him.
Now, how old are they now?
13 and 11.
13 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And you've made it to their games, I saw, like in your social,
yeah,
you're
both
there.
of them played soccer. I taught my son how to ride his bike, which, poor little guy, I mean, every fall you can't run over there and pick him up, and it's like, dude, you're going to be okay. You have to get up and walk to me because I can't run to you. So
that's got to be hard for you, though, as a parent, because your emotion is to lean down to help them and to know that your body can't go do that. How do you deal with that challenge?
It's hard, and it hurts, and it does develop a lot of character for them too, though. And they learned over time to dust themselves off and get up and try again. And whether it's by me setting an example or just things that they're having to do on their own, it's made them good, strong little individuals.
Oh no, absolutely. They look amazing. I watch your social. I mean, I'm just as proud of them as you are, because I feel like I've just watched them grow. You talk about just being strong individuals and stuff, and there have to be other quadriplegics out there.
There are.
That see your progress and that see what you're up to. And I only say this because when I had heart failure, I run into people that say, oh, I had that too. Mm-hmm. But I will see them with the oxygen tank, or and I will see that they took a different path with their diagnosis. Mm-hmm. As opposed to a different, like I went and lost 75 pounds. I went and lost a job that was stressful. I got rid of toxic people. Like I changed so much that they say could help you. Mm-hmm. When you run into other people that could be in similar situations than you, is there anything that goes through your head when you see them not trying?
Hoping that they endure through the tough times. Like I know it's going to be challenging, so you can't really tell someone like
it's hard. I know, and I know.
Like it's not a big deal. Get over it. It'll be fine. It warrants that type of feeling, but it's just how you work through it. And if they don't work through it, then the consequence of not trying, like you do worry, and it is scary. I did have one person I talked to who had an injury, and he told me, I am not going to live in this chair, no matter what. I'm either going to walk again or I'm not going to live in this chair. And then 2 weeks later, he did take his life, and that hurt. Like,
yeah, right.
I wish he, could have hung in there, but you can't tell someone how to feel or like what to think. It's kind of up to them to make that decision of what they're going to do. And, it's tough. Like, all you can do is hope for the best, try to give some positive feedback and be realistic and not provide false hope, but at least let them know that trying is going to leave you in a better position than not trying.
I couldn't agree more. And that goes with anyone. They get a cancer diagnosis, but they keep smoking cigarettes. We all are faced with decisions for any of the things that we have, but the path of trying something different, I always just want to tell people it doesn't hurt to try. Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt to try and take advice and get a little better to see if you can have better quality of life. So tell me about your quality of life.
Right now, it's really pretty good. I mean, I'm enjoying life. Me and my girlfriend spend a lot of time together. My kids are doing well. I have great friends, family, good support group. There's other walking quadriplegics, and have slowly found a way of like turning this injury into spending time like with the community and getting to know people, hopefully trying to motivate people because they push me and make me keep trying too, so I don't take anything for granted. And that's pretty much my day.
Yeah, no, you're motivating people right now just watching you. You're motivating them to get off their butt. And like you saved me. You motivate me. Like and I hate to say like if you can come back from this, but it is one of those situations. You literally, when it deals with the spine injury, you're out.
Yeah, the spinal cord stuff is so different. Like I remember seeing your injury, and I love seeing people's success, so like that motivates me too. I'm like, this person's out there getting after it. Like I need to go to the gym. I need to work out. Like it doesn't matter how significant the injury is. I just like seeing people go through what they're going through and improve and keep their head up and be positive about it. Like it feels good.
Right. Yeah, no, it does. Do you feel that the world is kind to people with disabilities?
Sometimes. There definitely are people that are truly kind. I've noticed other cultures treat disabled people very well. Sometimes it's hit or miss in the United States, but overall, people are very caring. I'm in a weird position now because I don't look as disabled when I don't have my crutches and I'm not in a wheelchair. So me and a couple of my other friends who have had spinal cord injuries, we joke that we almost have to disable it up so people know something is wrong.
Right.
Like if I can't reach something or if I'm not moving fast, like people might look at me kind of awkward because I look athletic, but I can't move the way that I want to.
True, right.
So sometimes you have to kind of disable it up so they know something's wrong. And
I love that you said disable it up. But I'm sure people might think at this point that maybe you have like MS or a different, something like they wouldn't understand. Like, who knows? I'm sure everybody
some people think it's CP, sometimes it's MS, but then I get to communicate with those people, and then it's a whole nother our community for help and support. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it blows their mind. Yes. Do you feel that like places help? Like, do you have access to ramps? Do you have, places? Do you feel like there's opportunities for you if you wanted to go back to work, things like that?
Yeah, and I did go back to work for a while. It was, I'm trying to remember if it was before or after COVID. Might have lost a couple years there.
I'd say before.
Yeah. Went for a couple years, and it's tough with kids, and then you're kind of balancing going back to work and trying to rush to regain life and like actually enjoy life. And so while they were little, that's all I was focused on. And then now, currently, I have so many years of living with a spinal cord injury. I'm on 2 different boards, and I do some consulting for spinal cord injuries, and it's not in tech and not where I got my degree, but it's kind of pushed me in a different path. So trying to make what I can out of it.
No, really, for sure. And keeping your body healthy is one of the best things that I think is a lesson for everybody out there. I do have another friend who is in a wheelchair, and unfortunately, now he's dealing with, you're losing your muscle mass and your body falling because things can't hold as well. So his air is getting, so it's health is everything.
Mm-hmm.
would you tell everybody just one more time?
Yes, health is everything. Most of the time, people don't realize it until it's lost. And so that's the tough part, is climbing out of the hole is so much harder. And even where I've gotten now, the big thing for me is just trying to maintain and keeping things from, falling off faster than they need to. Like I want to make progress, but even if it didn't improve from here, I just don't want to decline faster than I need to. So I'm going to keep taking care of myself the best that I can, because I know what the other side is like, of losing health and mobility. And
yeah, you don't want to ever go back there again. I don't ever want to go back there again. That was, it's horrible saying that you can't even make it to a mailbox. What is right?
Yeah, and there's people that live with it every day and have extremely great lives and, enjoy themselves. So I don't want to make it seem like, you can't live in that situation. There's people that have great lives with it. It's
Thank you for saying that.
For me, having worked so hard to regain what I can, then I feel like I'm not doing what I should be if I just sat and did nothing. But I know that I could still carry on. I know I could still have a good life, but I worked hard for this, so I want to enjoy what I can while I can.
Absolutely. Sherown Campbell. Okay, so before I let you go, you got a beautiful girlfriend sitting over here. You guys have known each other forever. And
Yes.
Tell me, what is in your future? What are you looking forward to?
Just this next year, like our family spending time together, watching our kids get older, enjoying holidays, hopefully getting to travel and see friends some. Last year, me and a couple of other walking quadriplegics, we have our own crip camp, so we all got together and 4 walking quadriplegics going to the grocery store together, moving slow. And
This is a joke you're about to start, right?
No.
So there's 4 walking quadriplegics, and they go into a grocery store. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a good time. I'm starting to enjoy the community more. My kids are older, so I actually get to hang out with them more, and it's not so much parenting. It's actually enjoying time with them and experiences with them. So trips, events.
Life.
Yeah.
Life with a smile, sounds like.
Yeah, and try to improve if I can. As long as this body holds up, I'm pushing it.
Dude, you have like an 18-pack, so don't even. He said, don't even. Like I can wash my shirt on your stomach. It's so tough.
Well, I'm into my 40s now, so I'm trying to fight it. It's midlife crisis.
Well, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. So, Shiron, is there anything else you want to say to everybody before we say goodbye today?
Nothing specific. Just if anyone's going through tough times, to hang in there, because things do get better. Just like bad days come, good days come too. So if you can hang in there, it gets better.
Yeah. So what was the longest that you were in that you felt like you were having bad days?
Probably a year and a half. I broke my hip.
That would be way too long for me to go. I don't think I could last a year and a half. I tell people 1 week, 2 weeks, possibly a month during the winter. But you're telling me a year and a half of just bad.
Yeah, I fractured or broke a hip, and so I was doing really well, and then that hip break really set me back for a while. And so cooking dinner was hard, getting the kids to and from stuff was hard, up and down stairs was hard. Like everything was just kind of difficult for a while. And
it plays up here.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
That was around 2017 into 2018, and I knew I could work back from it, and I knew it was just a physical injury is a lot different than a spinal cord injury. Like I knew muscles heal, bones heal. Like that made me feel a lot better. Spinal cord injury is a much tougher thing, and you don't always know if that's going to heal or come back. So
I know, but you're trying to heal one while you have the other. I'm just okay. All right. You are my superhero. You're so many people's hero. Like you are just an amazing dude. And please, everybody, continue to follow him, Sherown Campbell. And you're so great at your videos. You show you from, like I said, when the injury first started, and they're just inspirational. You can do it. Don't ever stop. Don't ever let yourself down. And thank you for helping me get through my injury. So I love you.
Well, thank you for supporting me and keeping me going.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Sherown Campbell. And remember, take care of yourself. Life is worth it. Have a great day, everybody. Bye. Kathie J.